Let's get it. So, I cannot believe that this show fucking came out yesterday, and I'm already done with it. Oh my god, that kind of binge watching is it's not recommended. But I have finished the show. I started watching it at about 2 a.m. yesterday. Just finished the show about hour and a half ago. Anyways, so here's the thing. I think the critics are being way too harsh on this show. Like, for this show to have a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like that is just way too harsh. Way too harsh. I'm not really sure what haterade the critics were smoking. I mean, I didn't love the show, but I mean, it doesn't deserve that amount of hate. I mean, for me personally, Iron Fist, like, if you have great and you have fucking god awful, Iron Fist is somewhere in the middle, kinda, sorta. For me personally, as far as the Netflix Defenders shows that we've gotten so far, my favorites, at the very top, Jessica Jones is my favorite one. Second favorite would be season 2 of Daredevil. Third favorite, season 1 of Daredevil. By the way, with fucking John Bernthal as Punisher versus fucking Charlie Cox. God, it was gorgeous. Anyways, and then in fourth place we would have Luke Cage. I really enjoyed Luke Cage. Jessica Jones, I gave it 10 out of 10. Both seasons of Daredevil individually, I gave a 9 out of 10. I gave Luke Cage a 9 out of 10. And now we got Mr. Danny Rand, Iron Fist, which, in my opinion, is the weakest out of all of them so far. But let's dig deeper into this, all right? So, oh boy, this and I'm about to go all over the fucking place, all right? I'm about to go all over the fucking place. But I guess a good place to start would be just talking about the cast. For the most part, I think that the cast was sufficient all the way around. And I thought that, I think his name is Finn something, like Finn Jones, but I thought that he did I thought he did a great job as Iron Fist. You know, he kind of, he embodies the character well. And for the most part, I think everyone just does a pretty sufficient job. I didn't think that there was anyone who particularly did exceptionally well or way better than others, but everyone did good in their roles. And my God, Colleen, holy shit, Colleen Wing, I believe it is. I think in real life her name is Jessica. My God, first off, this chick is bae. Like, this chick is fine as hell. But moving that aside, her character is someone who, when I first started off this series, I was kind of like, but as time went along, and by the end of this series, I grew to love this character. I thought that she was just a fucking badass. Just a badass. The amount of people that she just beat the fuck out of just put this huge smile on my face. And I love how loyal she was to Iron Fist. Granted, she, lied a bit, but, she was loyal to him, stuck by his side, you know what I'm saying? And I really dug the chemistry between her and Iron Fist, kind of midway into the season as their, I guess their romance started to blossom, and God, and there was one episode, I think it was actually in the finale. Let me go ahead and check right quick. Yeah, it was actually, I mean, it wasn't necessarily in this exact moment, but during this moment from the finale, we got Danny, we got Claire, we got Carrie Fisher's character, who I can't remember her character name, unfortunately. Well, anyway, so it's these three and Colleen, they're all talking in this alleyway, and there's one moment where it's just Danny, Claire, and Colleen, and they're all talking. And Danny, he's just like, I gotta fucking kill Harold. I gotta kill his ass, And Colleen, and I don't remember what they said verbatim, but Colleen is just like, well, you should not kill Harold. You know what? I'll do it for you. And I was just like, God damn, that's a woman right there. That's a keeper right there. Fucking goddamn. She's just like, you know what? You shouldn't do it, but I'll kill him for you. I was like, fuck yeah, Colleen. Bae right there. Just straight up Bae. That shit made me so fucking happy. Her character just made me happy like that. Just consistently throughout the series. I thought she was such a badass. Let's talk about one flaw I had with the series. This motherfucker Harold. Look, I realize that he's the main villain and you're meant to not like him. I get that. However, I literally just did not like the way that the character was handled. You know what I mean? Like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Like, no one who fucking watched Game of Thrones substantially is just like, you know what? Like, there's not like this huge group of people, substantially speaking, who are like, you know what? When I was watching Game of Thrones and I saw Joffrey, I really kind of like him. No! Fuck Joffrey. But that's the thing, though. You hate Joffrey, but he's such a well-written character. He's such a great villain. He's such a great person to hate. You know, this is not that situation with Harold. Look, Harold had a lot of ammunition to become the greatest villain, you know, of this Netflix Defenders series so far, you know. He could have stood out like a sore thumb. He could have been a really aggressive, intimidating, creepy villain, you know. He could have been like, you know, even crazier than Kingpin. But instead, he kind of feels like the writing, the writing of his dialogue is poor, in my opinion. And his acting just kind of feels sort of B-movie-ish at times, you know, and it's difficult to sort of figure out, like, well, was that the directors or was that the actors? But either way, I mean, I think in general he played the part sufficiently, but I don't know. There's just a lot of times where his acting just felt like something out of a B-movie, you know, like it didn't really belong in this series, you know what I mean? It just, and a lot of his dialogue was just filled with cliches and cheesiness, and just the same thing with a lot of his actions. A lot of his actions just felt cheesy and just kind of cliched, and I don't know. His character wasn't intimidating to me. There was never a moment with his character where I was like, oh my god, no, I can't believe he's gonna do that. No, like that shit never happened. I just thought, like, wow, what a badly written character, in my opinion. For example, there was one sequence where, in episode 9, where this motherfucker, Harold, kills Kyle. First off, him and Kyle are sitting down, like, about to eat ice cream. Who the fuck wrote that scene? And, like, him and Kyle are about to eat ice cream, and Kyle says something about vanilla, I can't remember. But he fucking kills Kyle, his assistant, with a fucking metal ice cream scoop. Like, what the... I just thought that was so dumb. Who wrote that? I thought that was terrible writing. It reminded me of spoilers for Transformers Age of Ultron, as if anyone gives a shit about that pile of shit. But it reminds me of that one scene from I think it's Age of Extinction. What did I say? Age of Ultron? Fuck. The fourth Transformers movie. Damn it. I think it's called Age of Extinction. My bad. In that Transformers movie, him killing this man with a goddamn ice cream scoop reminded me of the scene with Mark Wahlberg in that Transformers movie where he fucking kills somebody by using a football. Like, literally, with this football, he did something to make someone, like, die, and, like, they fell out of a window or some shit. And I was just like, oh my fucking god, you didn't tell me the leading cause of killing this man was with a football. Same thing here. It's just the same amount of stupidity. Killed this man with an ice cream scoop. Fuck. His character was just so annoying. And I was so happy when Ward fucking Ward. You know, what an anal guy. The dude's always uptight. And if he's not uptight, he's like strung out on pills. Or in the fucking nut house. Like in episode 12 or whatever the fuck it was. But Ward. What a fucking character that bastard was. But anyway, I was so happy when Ward killed Harold, though. Even though Harold comes back. Fuck. Wakes up out of a goddamn swamp talking about some... like goddamn Smeagol or some shit. I was like, god damn it. There was another cheesy sequence where Harold, he walks from the fucking swamp to like a hot dog stand and like vomits out mud or some shit. There's another awkward, cheesy moment where he's like washing himself off by like a fire hydrant. I was just like, oh my god, fucking. Oh man, I hated Harold. Shit. I was so happy when Ward shot his ass off the goddamn building at the end. Fucking hated that character, man. Just my boy Kyle and Ice Cream Scoop. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't like the way that the writers handled the actions and the dialogue of Harold. A lot of time, I just thought the shit was just cheesy, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of any moments where it's just Harold talking to Kyle, especially horrible dialogue, horrible. Oh no. But anyways, moving past him, maybe I'll come up with some more thoughts about him later. But the premiere, I thought that the premiere of the show was that's another flaw. I thought the premiere of the show was pretty weak, actually. Almost bordering on boring. The premiere of the episode, like. Let me get specific here for a second. I took a lot of notes. But, yeah, so in the first episode, I mean, shout out to the song that they replayed a lot from Outkast, So Fresh, So Clean. Great song. And Iron Fist has good taste in hip-hop, I gotta say. But, I mean, the issue I had with the premiere is, like, it's just like 50 minutes of Danny Rand walking around homeless, desperately trying to prove to Joy and Ward, who don't give two fucks about him, that he's actually Danny Rand. And that's kind of the whole episode. Yeah, I think there's one action sequence in there. Maybe there was another one towards the start. And there was a moment where he like flips over a car that almost runs him over. But for the most part, I thought episode 1 was extremely uneventful. And, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of Iron Fist, you know, so I didn't walk into this show with like this encyclopedic knowledge of Iron Fist. But even for people who are super fans of Iron Fist, I would be blown away by a substantial amount of people who watched the premiere and just thought, oh my god, 10 out of 10 episode. I was riveted. It was so intense, blew my mind. Like, really? I thought it was I don't mind slow burning, but I just thought the premiere was very painfully slow and painfully uneventful, in my opinion. You know, especially the way that he just kept nagging on Joy and Ward to just be like, it's me, Danny! Like, bro, they don't give a fuck about you. My god. And another thing that sort of bugged me was, I think it was by, let's see here, by episode 3, I know I'm talking about flaws a lot, but I'm dissecting this whole thing, right? And there's a lot of flaws, unfortunately, in my opinion. But by episode 3, I thought it was crazy that it took this long. Because I think in episode 3, isn't that when Joy finds the M&Ms? I think. Let me see something here. I can't remember, but it was by like episode 3 or a little bit further that Joy is finally like, oh my god, he's actually Danny. Oh wow! And she finds those M&Ms that are sent to her, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's finally Danny." It's like, god damn! It took this long in the show for Joy or Ward to finally be convinced that this fool is actually Danny. Like, god damn, moving kind of slow, aren't we? And also, what else bugged me by the time I got to episode 3? Oh yeah, one huge thing that I don't understand: the place that Danny comes from, which is called like Kunlun or some shit. I know I just probably said that fucking terribly, but this place right here, where Danny comes from, I know I'm probably fucking up the name. It's called like Kunlun or some shit. But the place where Danny is from, like, I don't understand why this is so restricted from the show. Like, we get very small glimpses into this place that Danny is from. And it's like, why? Why? By like episode 3 or 4, the most glimpses that we get of this place are like, you know, patches of snow, interior shots of the plane crash, We see a couple monks standing around in snow. I think there was one sequence from the show where we see this faraway shot of Kunlun. Let me see if I can find that really quick. We get to see this shot, which was a cool shot, but like, why wasn't there more of this place in the show? Like, I just don't get it. I mean, just look at that. I mean, there should have been like 2, 3 entire episodes that just took place in this fucking environment, in terms of a flashback. I just don't get it. I was so fascinated by Danny's backstory. Like, why didn't we get at least like montages of, like long montages of Danny as a boy growing up in this brutal Batman Begins training style life in the fucking Himalayas. I wanted to see him with the monks, training and shit, sneaking off to get wine against this awesome landscape. And I don't know, like, we just got very little peeks at Kunlun and his upbringing there, We got a little bit of this sequence, which gets replayed a few times with Danny as a little boy being fucking beat by the monks to make him tough, but it just wasn't enough. That was another huge negative for me. I really wanted to see more of that place. So, and a huge thing that I don't understand why they dropped the ball on this is the dragon. I think his name is Shao something. I can't remember what the dragon's name is. Shao Lao, some shit. But but this dragon. So come to find out that Danny actually fought a fucking dragon at some point, and the only glimpse of this dragon that we get in the show is like darkness and 2 red glowing eyes from the finale, and that's it. Like, what? Like, could you imagine if there was like a 2-3 minute sequence or whatever of Danny back in time fighting this big ass fucking dragon in a cave? Like, what? Like, why would you? I mean, maybe it was a budget thing, but I would have killed to have seen that sequence. Are you kidding me? Just that sequence alone would be worth, assuming that, like, CGI wasn't terrible and looked great, I mean, that'd be worth a whole rating right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Iron Fist should have had martial arts sequences that were on par with Daredevil or better. This show, we're talking about a guy who fought a dragon one time. I feel like this should have been the wildest, most batshit, crazy, intense Defenders installment yet. But instead, I think, Iron Fist was the weakest out of the individual Defenders storylines that we've gotten so far. And I think they really dropped the ball with not letting us see him face off against, the undying dragon or whatever. Like, what the fuck? And that's another thing. The fight sequences. I thought that the fight sequences overall were poorly choreographed. Like, for example, when Colleen, when she starts getting into these cage matches, she goes to this cage outside, and there's people sitting ringside, and she's like, fighting guys. She has like 2 matches. There's one where she like faces off against one guy, and then there's another time where she's in the cage and she's fighting 2 guys at once. Oh my god! Like, I just thought that the fight sequences there were just poorly choreographed. While I was watching them, I never got this sense of like, ooh, damn, ooh, shit, yeah, go, Colleen, yeah, woo, oh my god, did you see the way? No, I never got any of that. I thought that the fight sequences there were not only bland and poorly choreographed, but most of the fight sequences in this show are just poorly directed. And a lot of times, like, they're fighting really slowly, Let me see if I can find something specific here. There was one fight between Colleen and Danny where I was just like, yo, this is not being directed well. Let me see if I can find out which episode this was. Okay, so episode 3. Do I have anything from episode 3? Not too many sequences. But in episode 3, by the way, shout out to the beginning of episode 3 where Danny is like in the dojo and he's like doing his fucking, he's doing his he's doing that shit, and he's doing it against this hip hop song that sounds like a bass nectar hip hop song. Whatever song that was, it sounded dope as fuck. But anyways, Colleen walks in, it's just like, hey, what are you doing? Blah blah blah, and the two of them spar for a second. Oh my god, I thought the way that was choreographed was so just not good. Like in that moment, you should have felt them getting closer as characters. Maybe you can kind of see hints of like they could be romantically connected in the future, that they'll have a lot of chemistry in the future. You should have got a sense of like, whoa, boy, look at those moves, they're getting on each other, damn, woo. Like I got none of that. Like the fight sequence was or the sparring, I should say, it was very slow and sluggish, and I was just like, what the fuck? That's so weird. But I don't know how much more specific you want me to get, but there are so many times the fight sequences in Daredevil were a completely different story. Completely different story. All the hallway sequences that are done in one take in Daredevil, or that one take fight sequence in Daredevil season 2 down that staircase. Oh my god, that was almost like the Raid in a way. Daredevil's action sequences were fine. They felt frenetic. They felt quick. They felt brutal. They felt like intense. Like even certain times where you were just like, damn, Daredevil's oh shit, what? But didn't get any of that in Iron Fist. So that makes me sad. I mean, there were a couple fight sequences that were done well, just not many. What's one that comes to mind that was done well? Fight sequence that was done well. One thing that I did like, which was in the finale, I did like this one fight sequence where... Oh, wait. I went too far. I think it was in episode 12, actually. Yeah. This motherfucker, Bakudo, I think that's how you say his name, when it seemed like he had died, Bakudo from... Okay, the fight between him and Colleen in the rain, that was cool. I like that. I even like the way that they set it up. Just the two of them, just him standing in the rain and Colleen walking towards him, the way that the camera followed her as she approached him. Like, I was like, yo, that fight was cool. That was cool. And this villain was... I like this villain. I liked him way better. I liked him way better than Harold. There's just something kind of off-putting about him. I just, even from the first time I saw him, I was like, there's something off about this dude. He feels very Stepford wife-ish. Like something off about him. He seems too pleasant. He seems too nice. You know what I mean? Like he seems like he's trying to make the audience trust him too much. Like there's something off about this motherfucker. He was a cool villain. I liked him. He had some cool moves. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that fight sequence was cool. I think the only other fight sequence I actually liked was... let me see if I can't find it. Only took so many fucking pictures. It was done in a hallway and there was an elevator. Let me see if I can't find it. Oh shit! My bad. Hold on. Boom. If you know what I'm talking about, it's when he fights those people who had the hatchets. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Some of this stuff was kind of cool right here. Give me a second. From episode 6, Iron Fist had 3 fights. The fight against this dude was pretty cool. It's cool. Didn't mind it. I think all 3 fights were fine. I like this hot as hell Spider Woman that Danny fought in episode 6. You know, the woman who had that spider tattoo. This chick, that chick was smoking, but she was beating the fuck out of Danny. I was like, Danny, God, don't let the pussy get to you. Fuck her. I mean, don't actually fuck her. Just elbow her in the face. You know what I'm saying? Danny. But hey, I mean, he hadn't had sex in fucking how long, so it's understandable to see how she sort of seduced him for a moment. But hey. And then there were these cats that Danny fought as well. This was fine. These fights in this episode were fine as well. So I guess there's that. What else was there? But where's the one that I'm thinking of? Where he was in the goddamn hallway. Oh, here we go. God, that was all the way back in episode 4. By the way, this image of Danny right here was that's dope. I think I posted this on Twitter, but that image is fucking cool. But let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So when he's fighting these hatchet people in the hallway, they these people with hatchets. They're trying to kidnap Joy. And there's this one moment we got Joy in the back. We got they're in an elevator, and this dude with a hatchet, he's like swinging, and fucking Danny puts up his fucking fist, and the hatchet just bounces off his fist. That shit was cool. That was cool. This was probably my favorite action sequence in the whole show, especially when we get to this part in the elevator. That was cool, just because I love the red lighting, you know, and Danny on the inside just knocking the fuck out of people. It kind of reminded me of Captain America and the was it Winter Soldier, I think, whichever Captain America movie where Captain America was in the elevator and there's people around him and he was like, gentlemen, you ready for this? Or, you know, he said some shit like that, and Captain America fucking went ham on those people in the fucking elevator. Kind of reminded me of that sequence a little bit, but yeah, that was my favorite fight sequence in the whole show. By the way, I liked how they did the tattoo. Random, but it was cool as fuck. It was dope. But we should have got a chance to see him fight the fucking dragon. Maybe it was just too much from a budget standpoint, but God, I wish we got that. That just pisses me off. And a small thing, but I really loved how they handled visually the glowing fist. That shit was fucking dope. Every time his fist glowed, I was like, yes! It was just made my inner nerd just freak the fuck out, man. It was really cool. What else? What else is there to talk about? I'm just gonna stalk through these episodes and see what stands out. It was interesting seeing Danny, you know, get back into the company. Those sequences were interesting for the most part. Those were fun to watch. Danny, it kind of felt like Tom Hanks from Castaway, his character kind of being brought back into the modern world again and trying to acclimate. It was cool to see, you know, like when he walked in on Ward, who was trying to sell those drugs at a really high price, and Danny was like, "Bitch, please," you know. That stuff was intriguing to see, you know. It was pretty cool. By the way, I really liked this Daredevil Easter egg. From episode 4, Ward is talking about Daredevil for just a moment. That was nice. And this is probably a good time just to talk about the Easter eggs that just caught my eye in the show. First off, in the finale, my boy Stan Lee, he just can't stay away. In the finale, is it the finale? Yeah, in the finale when Carrie Fisher and Claire, they're walking down the street, there's this poster of Stan Lee right here. And I was like, God, yes! Every time I see Stan Lee in the Marvel film or show, whatever, in any cinematic live-action Marvel thing, it's just good to see the great Stan Lee up in there. Someone needs to make this motherfucker immortal so that he will forever be able to physically be in Marvel films, because it fills me with happiness. What else is there to talk about? Let me just pull up my notes and go off of this. What are some things that stand out? Oh yeah, Miss Gal. Yo, this bitch. I'm sorry, but if I... Oh yeah, by the way, another Easter egg. Episode 6, there's a moment where Claire says, "Sweet Christmas." It's nice. That was very nice, very nice. But Miss Gal, man, let me tell you, I would have choked the shit out of Miss Gal. Granted, she didn't end up actually killing Danny's parents. Harold did, but still. There's just some moments with her that I was just like, Like, what was the episode where they had Miss Gal fucking tied up? You remember that shit? Let me see if I can't find it. But they had Miss Gal tied up to a chair, There we go. Episode 9. I'm sorry, but the way that, even just being tied down, the way that she was psychologically getting in the minds of Claire and Colleen, especially when Colleen was poisoned, I would have choked the shit out of Miss Gal. Like, you old bitch! You know, you shouldn't choke out an old woman, but Miss Gal, she ain't right. Something wrong with that fucking woman. Oh yeah, one last thing about these fight sequences. This fight sequence was terrible. God, arguably one of the top worst. Against when Danny had to fight this dude, this sort of like drunken monk. Well, I don't know what the fuck this character was trying to do, but I didn't like it. All of his dialogue I thought was painfully cheesy. The way that the fight was shot between Danny and this guy, I was just like, ugh. From episode 8, I just thought, no. No, I just thought it was poorly handled from a directing standpoint. But, what else? By the way, Ward and fucking Joy, they never exactly pissed me off, but I never truly, liked Joy and Ward as characters, you know? They didn't annoy me like Harold, but Joy and Ward, they just... I don't know. I got annoyed with Joy, like how she warmed up to Harold and was just so gullible to him. I was like, oh my god. And how she was just such a dick to Danny, in my opinion, you know? Like the lengths that Danny had to go to convince her that fucking, it's me, Danny. Like, I don't know. Didn't really like Joy or Ward that much, but hey. But I really loved the romance between Colleen and Danny. I thought that was handled extremely well. I think it started to blossom in episode 5, yeah. It's about episode 5 when Colleen and Danny, they had to go down to that pier together. It's right around here that you can start to see the romance blossom, and their chemistry together, not even just romantically, just in general, just skyrocketed from this episode and onward. I thought that the show did a great job of making their romance believable, and I was like, man, my boy Danny, for his first time girlfriend, man, you went in, son. Like, good God, because Colleen is fine as hell. I mean, you did the thing, Danny. Shit, for first girlfriend, god damn. And then I think this was the episode 7, that they first had sex, I think. But I was so proud. This is so random. I was so proud for Danny. I was like, fuck yeah, got it in there, baby. Anyway, I was proud for your boy. You know, I think I got another image here with the two of them. I was like, yes, did his thing. Anyway. Anyways, is there anything else that I particularly want to go into? This might be one of the longest reviews that I think I've ever done. Oh, there was one sequence with Bakuto, and yeah, episode 10. I thought this was really, really cool when Bakuto, when he was showing. By the way, I thought it was cool how in episode 10, Danny and Colleen, they're sort of brought to. It almost seemed like Bakuto's version of the X mansion, in a sense. I thought that was cool. This guy, in case you lost track. This guy. I think Bakuto, I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I'm messing it up. But yeah, that place that they're in, it almost seemed like his version of the X mansion. And this moment right here was really cool when he was showing Danny this old film reel from 1948, showing this old-ass black and white version of this Iron Fist who has like 2 glowing fists, just like beating the fuck out of people. That was so cool. I wish that there was a still image that was like in 4K, black and white, showing like a 2 glowy fist Iron Fist just like about to beat the fuck out of people, because it would probably be my background. But that was a really cool sequence, really cool. What else? Oh yeah, this character, I think his name was fucking Davos. Intriguing. You know, it was all right. I mean, fuck him though. You know what I'm saying? Danny needs to stay right here in the in the real world. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to go back to Kunlun or whatever. And the two of them were beating the fuck out of each other in, I think, episode 12. I thought Danny was about to kill his ass for a moment. This moment right here, I was like, oh shit, Danny, is he about to fucking... Are you about to punch through his fucking skull? But, yeah, his character, he was alright. He was alright. I think the ending of episode 12 was probably my favorite episode ending and the best cliffhanger. Just the two of them, sort of Colleen and Danny running down the streets, dangers in pursuit of them. I just, it's like, why didn't more episodes end in this sort of thrilling manner? You know what I mean? I mean, there was that one time where Danny got pushed off. He got pushed off the side of a fucking building. What episode was that? Let me see if I can find that really quick. That was... I think the opening was to the episode was better. But I'm not sure what episode that was where he falls off that building. Oh, episode 4. Yeah, and at the end of episode 3, he gets pushed off. That was a decent cliffhanger. That was pretty good. But the opening here to episode 4 with him on the side of this building was pretty cool. That was probably the best start to an episode, episode 4. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, actually. And let me go to my notes just to see if there's anything else left about Iron Fist that I might want to dig through. Let's see. Oh, the finale. Let's talk about that. The finale. Harold gets shot off a building by Ward, which I loved. I hated this moment though, right here in the finale. They're on the roof, Danny and fucking Harold, and there's this moment right before this moment. Actually, Harold is like beating Danny's ass with like this big metal beam or some shit. I was like, Danny, what the fuck are you doing? You know martial arts. Beat Harold's ass. Don't let him kick your ass. Jesus. What else is there to say? I'm very curious to see what happens next. Not majorly, but I'm intrigued to see what happens next here with Joy talking to Davos of all people, and Miss Gal was just like listening in the background. Intrigued to see what's going on there, or what happens next, rather. What else? Oh, this moment here was probably the most impressive FX shot of the series, where Iron Fist, he's just like, fucking punches the floor, and just like the whole floor of that building just like, boom, just explodes. Kind of like in Breaking Bad when Walter White had that chemical compound, and he was like, and then like a very similar thing, just like the whole fucking room explodes. That was pretty dope. That was dope. Should have had the dragon fight though. And then in the last moments here, it was a pretty decent episode. I think I gave this episode I'll probably get the finale like a 6 or 7 out of 10, some shit. But anyways, towards the end of the finale, you know, him and Colleen, they're trekking through the Himalayas to find Kunlun or whatever. Apologies if I've messed up pronouncing that the whole time. But come to find out that the people are just straight gone. In this place that he stayed in since age 10, it's just barren and gone. So, as someone who wanted to see more of this place, I mean, I'm intrigued to see what happens next, but, I mean, so much for ever seeing that place substantially in the series. I guess, fuck that idea, right? Which I don't understand. I was so intrigued by this place, you know? I really wanted to see, like, substantial sequence in there, and just, nah. Just this series was like, nah. But a decent place to end off season 1, for sure. And I don't know. For me, it's a mixed bag. I mean, if I'm just being honest, if good is right here, I feel like Iron Fist is like just right underneath it. I'm feeling a 6. I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10 for this um, season one of Iron Fist. I don't hate it. I just can't help that the action sequences could have been monumentally better. I can't help but feel like Harold could have been executed better as a villain from a dialogue perspective and from his actions, Harold's actions. I feel like those could have been executed better. I think he could have been more menacing, more memorable. When it comes to being memorable, I feel like Kingpin and Kilgrave are easily the two best villains out of this Defenders uh, bunch so far on Netflix. Easily, my God. Kingpin, that's that motherfucker. That dude is dope as shit. That's my guy right there. I'm so pissed that Kilgrave is just gone because just a fantastic villain. But Iron Fist, where's a good image to to sort of send off with Mr. Iron Fist here. Let me see. Maybe no. Fuck it. Yeah, Iron Fist, I thought was okay. I thought it was just okay. You know, there's definitely a lot of Easter eggs, and I think the cinematography is fine. The show is tolerable, you know, for sure. It's definitely easy to go through, but honestly, for people who are not like big fans of superhero content like I am, I feel like this would be the wrong thing. If I was going to recommend, like if someone had not seen any of these Netflix Marvel shows, this would be the last one that I would show them. You know, like if someone was like, oh, I like Marvel movies and shit. You know, what's something good to start off with? I'd be like, oh, bro, Daredevil immediately. Don't even think about it. Turn on Daredevil. You'll love that shit. Iron Fist, maybe save that for last. Because while Iron Fist is tolerable, it's just not great to me. I don't think that this show is a masterpiece. I don't, it's not a 10 out of 10 show for me. But also, it's not a 1 out of 10. Feeling a 6. But hey, what'd you think about this show? You know, let me know your thoughts down below. I cannot believe this is definitely the longest I think I've ever gone talking about a show in one take. Maybe this might be the longest video I've ever done. But either way, what'd you think about Iron Fist? You know, did you love it? Did you think it was an 11 out of 10? Did you think it was a 1 out of 10? Let me know why. And let me know your thoughts in general in that comment box down below. Give me your thoughts if you enjoyed this review. Definitely make sure to smash that like button and subscribe as well. There's more content coming on the way, obviously. I'll be reviewing the Defenders, obviously. And I've reviewed all of the other Marvel Netflix shows, so you can find those on my channel. And yeah, I think that's all I got. In the lower right hand corner of the screen, you should see a little circular button. You can tap that to instantaneously subscribe. And fucking hell, guys, I'm out. I think I've exhausted everything I wanted to say. So until next time, peace.